Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have roll call, please?
Supervisor McGlasson?
Here.
Councilwoman Campbell?
Present.
Councilman Ruthven?
Here.
Councilman Boyd?
Here.
And I understand Councilman Tempori is on his way.
Yes. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Our first item on the agenda is our police department. Let's see. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we are going to accept the resignation of our Lieutenant, Tara Flynn, who, after 24 years with the town of Kent, has decided to retire. Her and her husband are moving on to bigger and better things, and we wish her the best of luck. So tonight, our first item is going to be accepting her resignation. Want to read it?
I'm not
You have it?
approving the hiring and a promotion.
Here you go.
That's it.
Should be the first one.
Yeah.
Resolution recognizing retirement of Tara Flynn. Okay, I make a motion to pass a resolution recognizing the retirement of Tara Flynn, whereas effective, is it today's date?
It was March 30th.
Whereas effective March 30th, 2024, Tara Flynn is retiring from her position with the Town of Kent Police Department, and whereas the Town of Kent wishes to recognize Tara Flynn and give thanks for her service to the town, now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Kent recognizes Tara Flynn on her retirement with gratitude and appreciation for her service to the town. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that's tough. That's a generic form that I had
I
to make
didn't
it up
give it
as
to
I
you.
went.
Okay, wasn't me.
Got his, her, and
All right.
blank spaces. And
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Just say they are mistakes.
Our next item is we are hiring a new officer. Chief, do you want to come up and say something before?
Yeah. Now Tara has left, and we wish her the best. We do have an opening for a new officer, and we've interviewed many candidates, and tonight we'd like to hire Michael Johnson. We feel like he's the best candidate right now, and we think he'll do a great job for us.
Okay. All right. I'm going to get up and do the oath of office.
nope, you're on your own.
I know, I'm getting up and doing the oath of
Oh, I
office.
thought you guys.
You wanna hold the Bible?
I thought you were gonna give me another blank page with all these blanks on it.
Should we appoint him first?
You want, okay.
Yeah, we can
You wanna
appoint.
read
Yeah,
that?
I can do that quick. I make a motion to pass the resolution approving the hiring of a police officer, whereas there is currently a vacancy in the Town of Kent Police Department for a police officer, and by letter dated April 4th, 2024, to the Town Board, Chief of Police Kevin Owens has recommended the appointment of Michael Johnson, who is currently an officer with the New York PD, NYPD, to fill the position. And whereas Chief Owens advises that Mr. Johnson is eligible to transfer according to Putnam County personnel, and whereas the Town Board wishes to accept the recommendation of the Chief of Police, now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby appoints Michael Johnson as police officer in the Town of Kent Police Department effective April 10th, 2024. And it is further resolved that the appointment of Mr. Johnson is contingent upon the passing of any further civil service requirements. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I state your name.
I, Michael Johnson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the Constitution of the State of New York
and the laws of the Town of Kent,
and the laws of the Town of Kent,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Great.
No pressure. Thank you. With the retirement of Lieutenant Flynn, it leaves a spot open for a new lieutenant in the Kent Police Department. And the police chief is requesting us to appoint Alex Vanderwood as lieutenant. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah. No, we have many good candidates at the Town of Kent Police Department. Again, went through an exhaustive interview process. Alex has been with the department 17 years. He is the fixer of everything, as we say, and feel like he will do a great job for the Town of Kent. So we'd like you to promote Alex Vanderwood.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
I make a motion to pass a resolution approving the promotion for the Kent Police Department, whereas there is currently a vacancy in the Town of Kent Police Department for the position of lieutenant, and whereas by letter dated April 1st, 2024 to the Town Board, Chief of Police Kevin Owens has recommended the promotion of Detective Sergeant Alex Vanderwood to fill the lieutenant position, and whereas the Town Board wishes to accept the recommendation of the Chief of Police, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby promotes Alex Vanderwood to the position of Lieutenant of the Town of Kent Police Department, effective as of
April 10th?
April 10th, 2024, is that right?
Or what was the date? Oh, no, March? April 1st.
April 1st, 2024. April Fool's Day. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I state your name,
I, Alexander Vanderwood,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the laws of the Town of Kent,
and the laws of the Town of Kent,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of lieutenant
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of lieutenant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We'll take all these rowdy people outside so we can continue the meeting, all right?
No, you got to stay for the whole meeting.
All right.
Let's give them a minute to just clear out.
Got this feeling we're not so special after everybody leaves now.
I know, right?
They've really come to see us.
That's all right, it's a Ranger Islander game. I wouldn't be here either.
Yeah. We're just going to give them a minute so that they can be rowdy and loud in the... Okay. All right, we're going to move on. Our next item is short-term rentals. We began a discussion, was it last week, a couple weeks ago, and we're going to continue the discussion tonight. I did put up in the backup, last time I put, what did I put, Patterson, I believe, in there? No, Pauling, I put their short-term rental. This week, I put the Putt Valley short-term rental, what they have, just so we have another town to look at and different ideas and see what we think.
Putnam Valley recently passed.
Yes,
this,
it was
right?
very recent.
Very new.
It was very, very recent, like in the past few weeks. It was very, very recent. Like weeks. It's weeks old, so I don't think they have an idea yet of how it's doing.
Yeah, or it's only a 10-day notice. Everything else is 30, 60, or 90 days, so
You wanna
I wish they would call
talk
me.
about,
Read it. Just let me know when they're ready for public comment.
no, you want
Yeah.
public comment on this right now?
I mean, does the board have anything they want to say, or do we want to, I mean, it's just discussion tonight.
I'd like to read through this whole thing better, and hopefully, have a chance to sit down with Nancy and look at our options and what our best.
I have to get water.
Look at what our best route would be, and certainly we have some interested residents that have sent some comments in about it. I think we just need to kind of regroup together and put everything together and have it very open and, set our goal. What are we looking to achieve here in the end? What's our final outcome we're looking to do? I think we kind of all have an idea what the problem is, but what do we want to achieve to make a solution for the problem? So
Right.
I think that's where we're at right now with it.
What are the responses?
Excuse me?
What are the responses? From the, you said you got letters?
We got one.
We got, Bob Bradley sent Sean a list of recommendations that, ideas he had. So I think when we get to a public comment, we can take what we learned from Putnam Valley and Pauling and what residents are telling us and try to piece it all together into a solution for the town of Kent.
It would be helpful to hear from a community that has had this in place for a while, so we can find out how it's working for them.
Well, can you speak on behalf of Pauling?
So far, it's worked out very well for them. There are certain parts of the town of Pauling where the homes are very desirable to stay in, and we've been able to monitor how many people are in the homes for safety reasons. And the other big bonus in having the registry is that when there's a problem, we have a contact.
Which goes back to what Bill was talking about, if there's a complaint or something, we have an actual contact and not some random number for a reservation company or something,
Yeah.
which is important. Okay.
Do they have a dedicated person?
It goes through the building department.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, do we have to hire, what I mean, like, is the cost of the money that?
Kathy, you have to use the mic.
Is the cost of the income that you would get from the Airbnbs, will that be offset by who you then have to hire to do this, to monitor it? And I think we have a lot of problem with a lot of the codes. I mean, I've got chickens and ducks next door, and they're not allowed. So, there's a lot of things that go on in the town that we're having trouble keeping up with now. And then it will be how the courts take it, because sometimes they go, the law's not written correctly, and they don't then move the person along. I mean, I was surprised that you said 10 days, but that's if they were there just for less than 2 weeks, or less than 30 days, is it? So,
Less than a year.
less than a year?
New York State statute says if somebody resides in a residence for a year or less.
I'm sorry, can you get up to the microphone, just because they can't hear you at
Sorry to
home?
put you on the spot, but you wanted it.
I'll give a brief lesson on landlord-tenant law, and then I'll give a 2-minute spiel about short-term rentals. We'll be in good shape. So in 2019, New York State changed their laws related to the notice given. For the record, my name is Frank J. Smith, the third attorney from the law office of Schilling and Smith in Carmel. First and foremost, I know you're expecting my partner, Mr. Schilling, tonight, and I apologize he's not here. Not to get too crazy into it, his daughter had a car accident today. She's okay, but he's obviously with her. So you're stuck with me in his stead.
Well, I was stuck with him calling me every day.
Well, I'm hoping that my 2 minutes will get it covered and we can move on from there. But as it relates to evictions, in 2019, New York State changed the law related to notice. Ordinarily, you could bargain that in a lease and say a 5-day notice, 15-day notice, et cetera, or in a month-to-month tenancy, it would be 30 days notice to terminate a tenancy. Now it's based upon the time of occupancy. So if somebody's been there for 30 days or less, you have to give them 30 days notice. If they've been there 1 year or less, you have to give 30 days notice. If they've been there between 1 year and 2 years, you have to give 60 days notice. And if you've been there for more than 2 years, you have to give 90-day notice. But in the instance of the squatters that we hear about on television all the time, that's what's called a non-landlord tenant eviction, because as a property owner, you have no relationship with that person. So you can give a 10-day notice, and after they don't vacate, you can bring your summary proceeding in the local justice court. So it's funny, a buddy of mine is a producer at Pix 11, and I texted him the other day, if you want a practitioner's point of view, I'm more than happy to hop on and talk to you about it. But most commonly up here, we deal with people who stay in after foreclosures. So there specifically is a post-foreclosure eviction process. It's a 10-day notice. It needs to be personally served. And if they're not out within 10 days, you go before your local judge. So it's really not as bad as the doom and gloom that they would make it sound like. New York City is a little bit different because you deal with housing courts and whatnot, but up here, I like those files. They're good for me.
Makes it sound so easy. If I'm a landlord, it ain't easy.
Well, if you are in need of legal services, I'd like, listen, sometimes it's best left to the quote experts. But first of all, thank you guys for the opportunity to speak. Madam Supervisor, I know my partner has pestered you to the point of getting us on the agenda here tonight, and I appreciate your time. As you guys are aware, there is no short-term rental law in the town of Kent right now. The current home occupation code refers to, quote, tourist homes. Tourist homes is an undefined term. It's unclear what a tourist home occupation is. And we've been reached out to by a number of people saying, what is a tourist home? Can we do short-term rentals? Can we do Airbnbs? And obviously, there's nothing in the books as of yet. Just a quick example, we have a client, her name is Nicole Glassman. She lives at 2 Woodland Drive, and we're scheduled to be in court here next Wednesday for a, quote, illegal tourist home. So I have mentioned to Mr. Walters and Mr. Looney, I am fully prepared to try that case because I don't think it can be prosecuted. Between myself and Bill, we've spoken to a number of people, and what we've realized is that based upon our community and what it's like here, and the lakes and being in the country, people like to visit this place. And on top of it, beyond visitors and the revenue that they bring, we realize that there's next to nowhere to stay in Putnam County as a whole. So if you have family that wants to come stay with you and you don't have room to put them up, they're likely staying in Danbury or Fishkill. So it's not very convenient, but that's probably a story for another day as it relates to hotels. And right now, the short-term rentals are unregulated. The only way in which the town is made aware of them is through complaints or going on your short-term rental websites and putting in the zip code and seeing what is actually listed in the town. There's pros and there's cons to it, right? We believe that the best way forward is to actually regulate it and to put in the books a law like Pauling or like Putnam Valley. And there's a number of other ones around. So what's nice is that you have the opportunity to pick from those other codes that have been enacted. We mentioned earlier that there are other towns that you'd likely like to hear from and see how it's going for them. And then you can kind of put it together and take the pieces that you like and go from there. So our pitch is not in one particular way or another, other than we'd like to see legislation be created. The legislation can safeguard the community. There would be a mechanism to get in touch with somebody who's registered, as the agent or owner, whoever it is. It would ensure safety. It's likely that you would want your building department to do an inspection to make sure that everything is up to code and there's proper safeguards in place. Also, there's a means of collecting revenue. So this could be an additional revenue stream for the town. I think that by creating this legislation, we would be cleaning up the issue of having no current regulations. I think it would take care of the undefined tourist home angle that I think the town is looking to prosecute these short-term rentals on right now. And you could provide visitors, family, not family, people from out of town, the ability to come in, spend their time, and more importantly, spend their money. I saw last year in the Putnam Times, there was an article related to the town deliberating short-term rentals. So I know that this is on your radar. I know that it's something that you're working on. And what I was going to offer is that if you were so inclined, I can do it through Ms. Tagliaferro also. There are a number of local towns that have codes in place, many of which you're already aware of. So I think it's important to look at those and see how you can take the pieces that you like and create a piece of legislation for the town of Kent. In conclusion, it's our recommendation that the town look into this and create a form of legislation. One way or the other, it gives you the ability to control your own destiny related to short-term rentals. And as an aside, as a kid who grew up in Lake Carmel, mom and dad are still right down the road. Mom is probably watching on TV tonight. It's pretty cool to think that people want to come visit here. I don't know if when I was a kid, you would think of Lake Carmel or some of the other areas as a weekend getaway, but it's become that. So I think if we can take advantage of the opportunity to collect some revenue, give our residents the opportunity to maybe make some money themselves, then also bring people in, let it be in a nice, safe, regulated environment, that it would be a good thing for everybody. So I appreciate your time. I thank you. If you have any questions, I'll answer them, but if not, we can pick up our communications at a later date.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
That's how Lake Carmel started 100 years ago, as the weekend or summer getaway.
I was going to bring up Lake Carmel, because we have the beaches.
The doors were, old garage doors, outside walls and stuff, so it's cool.
Well, I grew up here too. My grandparents lived here, so I came up all the time. But I'm just saying that Lake Carmel has the lake, we have the beaches. If you're doing an Airbnb, I think it's appalling that they have different districts. Again, something to look at, the different districts that you're going to maybe look at for this, because, again, Lake Carmel, if there's an Airbnb next door to me and there's a park, it's, the houses are on top of each other, and then you have the beaches, so, just.
So we're not voting on anything tonight. This is just,
Nothing to vote on.
no, this is just the initial discussion, and Nancy and I actually talked before the meeting, and the first meeting in May, Jamie will be here, and Jamie is the expert on.
I would say so.
So I think we should hold this over and discuss it again at the first meeting in May, if
Okay.
everyone's good with that. So it will not be on the meeting next week. You can tell Bill, it's not on Tuesday's meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very
It'll be on the
much.
first meeting in May.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks.
Everyone's good? We can move on?
Yep.
We're all good for now?
I'll just read
okay.
Bob's letter.
Okay.
So Bob Bradley called me walking in my office this week and handed this to me, some of the local laws in an area that Chris is familiar with. And so I'll copy this and hand it out to the rest of the board members, so other local codes. So we also wrote this letter, Town of Kent Supervisor, Town Board members, short-term rentals. I'm unable to attend on Tuesday for discussion. I would like to address the issue of short-term rentals in the Town of Kent. 1, rentals should be owned by Town of Kent residents, not corporations, such as the accessory apartment law states. 2, there should be a registration of the property with the town and a fee. 3, I would suggest that they be allowed in the R60 2-acre zones and the R40 1-acre zones. 4, the accessory apartment law states that the property shall be owner-occupied at all times. For short-term rentals, there should be a limit as to the number of times they are rented and an amount of times that the property should be occupied by the owner. Number 5, the various homeowner associations should be made aware, should be part of the decision. Sedgewood Club, Gypsy Trail, Hillendale, Kentwood, Sagamore, South Lake, Lake Needham. Some of these associations already do not allow short-term rentals. Thank you for your consideration. Bob Bradley, former chairman of the Town of Kent Zoning Board of Appeals, former president of Plan Kent. He's also a local realtor and participates in a lot of local stuff if you don't know him already.
Okay. Great.
Thank you. Please do get us copies of that.
Will do.
Thanks.
If you actually get it to me, maybe, I can put it in the backup of the.
It's to you.
Do you want me?
Have the letter.
Oh, I'll
Yeah,
give
you
it
want
to
the
you. I'm
letter?
gonna give it to
Yeah,
Lana,
yeah.
and Lana
And
can
I'll
circulate it.
tomorrow morning? Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Thanks, Lana.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item is, we would like to go out to bid again for environmental, general, and architectural engineering services for on-call. So tonight, I'm just asking the board so that we can go out to bid, so that we have options when we need different engineering services in the town. Any town board comment? Any public comment?
And so basically, this just is going to allow us for certain projects to make it easy for us to start these things that would be whatever it is, improvements for the
Instead
town.
of getting a project and saying, oh no, we need a
bids.
environmental engineer, now we need to go out to bid for this project, it's just easier for us to, it
We've done this a number of
streamlines.
times. We're basically just putting it out there again to see if we have any other, basically redo the list. Lana has a list of all the ones that have already bid on it before.
Okay, so basically, it's speed dial for
Yeah.
Right, so
engineers.
now when you need somebody, you can go pick somebody off the list, and they usually, I think on the bids, Lana, didn't they like specialize in what they, some of them did environmental, some, they kind of checked the box of which ones that was their specialty.
Very good.
And you want to read the?
Sure. I make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the town clerk to advertise request for proposals for on-call environmental, general, and architectural engineering services. Whereas the town board wishes to advertise that it is seeking proposals for on-call environmental, general, and architectural engineering services, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes its town clerk, Yolanda D. Capelli, to advertise for requests for proposals for on-call environmental, general, and architectural engineering services. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I think we're going to move up the highway items that we have on the agenda, just because Richie's here, if everyone's okay with that. Richie, you're up. First, we're going to accept the resignation of Dorian McMath from the Highway Department. We'll do that first, and then I know Richie needs to add 2 items to the agenda, so why don't we do that first, if I can find it.
There's one that's crossed off and there's a.
I know.
Okay?
Do you want to read that one, Ann?
Yeah, just give
Okay.
him a second to
Oh.
get his seat. Well,
Oh,
Oh.
what's that?
No, you're not up yet. She said you have a tag in the back of your shirt.
Don't let anybody know. You got a tag sticking out of the back of your shirt.
What? Oh,
Don't say it on television.
all right, do you want to say anything about this resignation, or should I go ahead and read?
No, Dorian, great kid, he's an all-star, and I hate to lose him. He married a girl from Buffalo. And he
So
got a
shout
job
out
with the
about Buffalo.
operating engineers up there. He's a big loss.
Well done, Ann, with the pun.
What's that? I used to work for Henry Boyd.
He was a
too.
great guy, so good luck to him.
Yeah, he's a strong, he's got a degree in computer science and chemistry, and he wanted to drive trucks.
Yep, it's a loss to the highway department, for sure.
So I make a motion to adopt a resolution accepting the resignation of Dorian W. McMath. Whereas effective April 11th, 2024, Dorian W. McMath is resigning from his position with the Town of Kent Highway Department, and whereas the Town of Kent wishes to recognize Dorian W. McMath and give thanks for his service to the town, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby accepts the resignation of Dorian W. McMath with gratitude and appreciation for his service to the town. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I make a motion to add 2 items to the agenda for highway, the Bridge New York funding, and what's the other one? Oh, they're both Bridge New York funding, so,
Yeah, one is approximately 3.2 million, and the other's about 3.3 for the Ninham Road Bridge and the Sagamore Road Bridge. And we have the awards, we won them last year. But you guys, what happens is we have to lay the money out as the construction gets done, and then we bill the DOT in Poughkeepsie, and they just reimburse us. So this is giving us permission for that.
Do we still have to vote to add this
Yes.
to the agenda? So I'll second adding this to the
all in
agenda.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, so what Richie was saying was that there's 2 bridges. We lay out the money initially, and then we're refunded 100%
It's
for
just-
everything.
yeah.
So we just have to accept it tonight so that we can start moving forward.
This isn't, we're not laying out 100% of the money. This isn't the numbers you just said. It's less than that. It's
It's approximately, right, three?
1,270,000 and
Right.
1,300,000.
Yeah, that's, I said about one, I thought one was one point, I didn't look at it before I
All right,
left.
okay, we're good.
Because we have the Lake Louise Bridge grant also.
Yeah.
And there's too many numbers to keep track of.
All right.
So these were both awarded?
What's that, Dan?
These were both awarded? These
They
two?
were awarded last year, and now, when you guys approve this resolution, it goes into the design phase. These bridges should be a lot less complicated than the Lake Louise. Chris and Jamie, I've been trying to keep everyone intact with that. What happened with Lake Louise, it's a little bridge attached to an earth dam, and there's always something popping up, and the DEC, these come from the DOT. They want a wall, a concrete wall in front of the earthen dam 2 feet higher to prepare for the 150-year flood. So that's gonna basically double the project, and I told them, I'm worrying about the 2-year bridge collapse more than I am the 150-year flood, because the culvert in Lake Louise is really, really dangerous. We're going to put a metal plate on it sometime this month for now. So what I did is I went to the DEC and I explained everything to them, and we're going to break the DOT and the DEC. I've been in conference with both of them. We're going to break the project into 2 phases where we can do the bridge part, and then the wall will be built later on. I have to commit to within the next, I think, like 3 years. But there's all kinds of funding out there from the DEC for stuff like this. And it's actually going to work out good with the county, because there's 3 different lakes in South Lake. It's like if you look at it in plan, it's like a lock system. There are 3 different heights. And the county's got to fix the middle part, the middle dam, and we're going to have to lower it for our repair. So I know I confused the hell out of everyone. The project's working out good.
We good on these?
Yeah, I think so.
This is goes to
Yes.
that one, right? I think so. It was folded over like this. I'd like to make a motion to pass a resolution approving Bridge New York funding and implementation. Whereas a project for the Ninham Road over Seven Hills Lake Outlet Culvert Replacement, Town of Kent, Putnam County, PIN 8763.25, the project is eligible for reimbursement of qualified costs from Bridge New York funding that calls for the post-reimbursement of qualified costs to be borne at the ratio of 100% Bridge New York funds and 0% non-Bridge New York funds. And whereas the Town of Kent will design, let, and administer all phases of the project, and whereas the Town of Kent desires to advance the project by making a commitment of 100% of the costs of design, right-of-way, and construction work for the project of portions hereof. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Kent, duly convened, does hereby approve the project, and be it further resolved, the Town Board hereby authorizes the Town of Kent to pay 100% of the cost of design, right-of-way, and construction work for the project or portions hereof, with the understanding that qualified costs will be reimbursed from Bridge New York funding, and be it further resolved that the sum of $1,270,025 is hereby apportioned from the Town of Kent General Fund and made available to cover the cost of participation in the above phases of the project. And be it further resolved, the Kent Town Board hereby agrees that the Town of Kent shall be responsible for all costs of the project, including costs which exceed the amount of reimbursement available from New York Bridge funding awarded to the Town of Kent. And be it further resolved that in event the cost of the project exceed the amount appropriated above, the Kent Town Board shall convene as soon as possible to appropriate said excess amount immediately upon the notification of the supervisor thereof. And be it further resolved, the Town Board hereby agrees that the Town of Kent hereby commits that construction of the project shall begin no later than 24 months after award, and the construction
Phase.
I think it's supposed to be phase. It says please. The construction phase of the project shall be completed within 30 months. And be it further resolved, the Kent Highway Superintendent Richard T. Othmer Jr. be and is hereby authorized to execute all necessary agreements, certifications, or reimbursement costs with New York State DOT for state aid and/or Bridge New York funding on behalf of the Town of Kent in connection with the advancement or approval of the project, and providing for the administration of the project and the municipality's funding of the project costs. And be it further resolved that the Town of Kent will be responsible for all maintenance of the project, and be further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be filed with the New York State Commissioner of Transportation by attaching it to any necessary agreement in connection with the project. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I'm not
Okay.
reading the next one.
I got it.
You have it? Okay. Yes, I think.
For Sagamore Drive, should say it.
Good evening, Susan Kotzer. Mr. Othmer is proposing redoing the bridge on Ninham Road, and it's a one-lane bridge at this point. I'd like to be able to see the plans for the bridge before it's put in. And I think some of the other residents would also like to have some say and talk about it before it's constructed. So thank you very much.
To respond to that, the bridge, it's got to meet New York State and DOT standards. It's got to be a two-lane bridge in order to get the funding. You can't build a 19th century bridge. It's going to have to be two lanes to accommodate fire trucks, oil trucks, concrete trucks, everything else. So it's got to meet modern standards. So that's out of my hands a little bit. I mean, as far as the way it looks, I mean, we could maybe have a little say in that, but structurally, it's got to be built to modern standards. It's public funding.
19th century bridge has been in use for how many years? And oil trucks, concrete trucks, all sorts of logging trucks go over the bridge with no apparent, it's the people that bang into the bridge that is compromising the bridge. And buses go over it. It's a quaint little bridge. I'd like to not see it go into a two-lane bridge. And if I could get some documentation that this is something that needs to be a two-lane bridge, I would appreciate that also. Thank you.
Well, it's got to be a two-lane bridge. That's it. So, until it collapses, somebody gets killed, then they're all going to be pointing the finger at me. So, it's got to be a two-lane bridge by law. So, all right, thank you. Oh, the other last thing I want to say is we have a grant request in for East Boyd's Road as well. We're waiting to hear the results of that, and when these are completed, we'll have hit every major crossover in Kent. And Ann and I are working on two very old culverts that I don't even think anyone knows they're there, one under White Pond and one under Dixon Road. The one under White Pond is made out of stone, but, all right, thank you.
Have a good night, Rich.
Do you want to read the second one?
We got one more.
I'm reading it right now. We're going to read it right now.
We're going to read it, but Rich, the Sagamore Drive is going to be the same thing. It's got to be two lanes. Okay.
Same thing. Okay.
Do you someone want to read it?
No, I don't want to read it. It's too long.
I got it.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
you could just say, somebody make a motion to pass an identical resolution,
I got it.
but change the name and the amount.
Yeah, it's not that much.
I make a motion to pass a identical resolution to the Bridge New York funding and implementation. Whereas the project for the Sagamore Drive over West Branch Croton River culvert replacement, Town of Kent, Putnam County, PIN 8763.24. The project is eligible for reimbursement of qualified costs from Bridge New York funding
Just say the amount and I think that's all you have to do.
in the amount of $1,300,060, and the same conditions apply to the Ninham Road Bridge. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
See, Chris, I got the easy one. I come late, I get the easy
You
one.
did all the heavy lifting.
I'm still hoarse from it.
Okay.
Okay, we're done with highway now?
Yes, we are. We're done. So now we're going back up to the top. Our next item is back in January, we went out to bid for IT support, and tonight we are going to award the bid to Managed Technologies of New York, Inc. for our IT services in the town. Any board comment? I will say that the transition started at the end of March 24th, I believe. And it's been a very smooth March 25th. It's been a very smooth transition, and we're getting back up and moving where we need to be. Do you want to read that?
I got it all
Or
mixed
just-
up after
okay.
going to the back to get highway
There you go.
stuff. I make a motion to pass a resolution and award a bid for IT services, whereas the town of Kent duly advertised for proposals for IT services for the town departments, and whereas the bids were open and publicly read, and whereas the town board wishes to accept the bid submitted by Managed Technologies of New York Incorporated for the monthly fee of $6,000 and annual fee of $72,000. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of town of Kent hereby accepts the bid of Managed Technologies of New York, Inc., as further detailed above, and be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized and directed to execute any agreements in connection with the above. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is a local business too?
Yes, it is a local Kent business. They're about, what would you say, 3/4 of a mile down the road from us? Less than that? Okay, sorry. A little less. All right. Moving on.
Cowboys.
Yes, it is that time of year that we need to order sand for the beaches. And we went out, we got 3 quotes, and we are asking today for, KLM Trucking had the lowest bid with the amount of $56.50 per yard. We're getting 70 yards delivered. So I'm asking the board to approve that tonight so we can get the cowboy sand. Any board comment on the sand? Any public comment on the sand?
It's
Cal Bay, oh, sorry.
I thought, yeah.
Cal Bay.
I think we say that every year. It's just gonna be cowboy sand, okay? Comes with little cowboy boots in it. Little spurs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion for a resolution accepting quote for beach sand. Whereas
Cowboy sand.
Hell, it says here, beach sand. Whereas the Lake Carmel Park District Clerk has advertised the town board that there is a need to purchase beach sand for use with the Lake Carmel Park District, and whereas in accordance with the town's procurement policy, the Lake Carmel Park Department Clerk requested that 3 quotes for 70 yards of sand with delivery and received 2 quotes in response to such request, a summary of which is annexed hereto and incorporated herein by reference. And whereas KLM Trucking LLC has submitted the lowest quote in the amount of $56.50 per yard. And whereas the town of Kent wishes to accept the quote of KLM Trucking. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the quote of KLM Trucking for 70 yards of sand delivered for the price of $56.50 per yard. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Recreation is next, and unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, a very large tree fell on Field 2B's fence and took part of the backstop and the fence with it. So we had to do an emergency fix on it because we already have teams out there, and I couldn't have kids out there playing with a fence that was all on the ground, and it was just a danger. So this has already started to be worked on, and I'm just asking that we approve it tonight, since, you know, that we're doing the emergency repairs to it.
How much luster I can get up here.
All right, I'll read it. I make a motion for a resolution accepting proposal for repair to fence at Ryan's Field. Whereas the fence at Ryan's Field is in need of emergency repair, and whereas Duke Fence has submitted a proposal for the emergency repair of $1,960, and whereas the town board of the town of Kent wishes to accept the quote submitted by Duke Fence and to ratify any and all action taken by town officials in connection with the emergency repair. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the proposal of Duke Fence to repair the fence at Ryan's Field for the total cost not to exceed $1,960. And be it further resolved that the town board hereby ratifies any and all actions taken by town officials, including without limitation to town supervisor in connection with the repair. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is that I would like to hire a seasonal park maintenance worker effective immediately to start in working with our Parks Department. So I'm asking that we hire
Volodymyr
yes.
Vasilishin. How's that sound?
I don't think
It's
that's
Russian.
I don't think that's what it is.
It is.
But that's, so I'm asking that we hire him tonight at a rate of $20 an hour.
Okay.
Would someone like to, any comment? Not on the name.
Jorma's reading that one.
What's the effective date?
I would like to do effective tomorrow.
So $20,
Yes, effective tomorrow, which is the 10th.
410. Okay. Make
Thank
a
you.
motion to adopt a resolution to hire seasonal park maintenance worker for recreation and parks. Whereas the town of Kent is seeking to fill a vacant position for seasonal park maintenance worker for Recreation and Parks Department. And whereas by letter dated April 3rd, 2024, Claudia Dvorak, has recommended the hiring of Volodymyr Vasilishin. And whereas the town board wishes to accept the recommendation as further detailed above, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the hiring of Volodymyr Vasilishin as seasonal park maintenance worker for the recreation and parks at the hourly rate of $20 an hour effective April 10th, 2024, subject to satisfactory completion of all required background checks. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right.
Insurance, I believe.
Yep, so our next item, it is that time of year again that we need to redo our town insurance. So I had Brown and Brown, and they submitted our new quote with a 4% increase, which was good because we were anticipating a much higher increase. So I'm asking, I just want to find the number in here. Yeah, so the total went up about 4%, and we did have a lot of exposure changes, so that increase was very good because our equipment value increased by 4% in the past year. Our property limits increased by 9%. The number of vehicles that the town owns increased by 4%. And we had a good amount of, unfortunately, auto claims this year. We had a couple complete total cars, so the fact that it went up very minimal is very good for the town, and I'm asking tonight that we just approve the renewal.
So the adjective, good amount of car accidents?
Good amount,
Maybe
yeah.
a bad
We had
amount of car
We had
accidents?
yes. Brown and Brown, who.
I didn't know.
Any questions on the board?
Fortunately, 4% on insurance seems reasonable these days.
Especially because we budgeted for, I believe, 7%, so that was,
Well, that's good.
that was a win for us. Because unfortunately, when you do the budget, it doesn't match up with when you get the renewals, so.
Went the
You never know.
right direction this time for us.
Yes, it doesn't always work that way. Health insurance never works that way for us.
Ready? Make a motion to pass a resolution regarding insurance renewal. Whereas certain insurance policies for the town of Kent held through NYMER are in need of renewal, and whereas the town board of the town of Kent is in receipt of a property and casualty proposal for the town of Kent from Brown and Brown, the proposal, and whereas the proposal details all coverages and limits for NYMER policies renewing on April 8th, 2024, a copy of which proposal is annexed hereto and incorporated by reference herein, and whereas the town board of the town of Kent wishes to renew the above policy consistent with the proposal, and now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent approves and accepts the proposal from Brown and Brown to renew its insurance policies consistent with the proposal, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all agreements and other documents necessary to give effect to this resolution, consistent with the terms hereof, all in form satisfactory to the supervisor and the town attorney. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And so that's our general liability, our auto.
Yes, everything. Cyber,
Are all our-
cyber.
Do all our employees that drive town vehicles, are they required to take the defensive driving classes?
they're not, but we offer it.
They should make it a requirement, see if we can get a discount on our insurance.
We don't do that anymore.
And
They don't
county
do-
does.
Yeah,
Every county employee has to take the.
No, I know that the discount, though, doesn't work like that.
Maybe we wouldn't have as many insurance claims against our vehicles then.
I think they happened in the police department. I don't want to point fingers, but. All right. Next, we have, for our water districts, we want to go back out to to go for the WIA grant funding applications. We have a proposal here from Barton and LaJudas to do the engineering work again. I do think there was some questions from the board on this. Ann, did you have?
I did ask a question. So last time around, we did authorize, I think it was around $8,000 to do the engineering. And Sean, I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to ask you about this before the meeting. So I guess what I want to understand is, and we went ahead and had them submit the application for an additional fee, but we felt that that part of it was nominal compared to just using our grant firm, and since they were doing the engineering anyway, it made sense. Now this needs to be split into two separate proposals. I gather there are new requirements, and so what I wanted to understand is the 11,000 additional for engineering, you know, what is, exactly is that for? And then the other question is, what they're looking for now for submitting the two applications amounts to about 2 months' worth of what we would pay for our grant firm, so I'm wondering if we should reconsider getting the engineering done by Barton and Lejudas as needed, but then maybe going back to the grant firm for the submission this time around. But, you know, I'm open to understanding the issue better.
I think your questions are poignant. Why should we pay twice for a service done once? So, yeah, no, we definitely need to inquire on that. On both points, not just the engineering, but for whether Barton Lejudas actually submits that, or whether we use our grant people to submit it. I mean, if we're already paying them a flat fee to submit a bunch of stuff, so be it, if we're not getting charged for it, and Barton Lejudas would. And like you're saying, it is being split into two sections. One is an infrastructure part of the bill, and the other one is an up-and-coming contaminant side of it. So, yeah, no, I think we have some more questions for Barton Lejudas.
Yeah. I think,
Maybe it's in the backup, but is there more specificity around what exactly they'll be doing to
Their whole-
prepare these new submissions?
the whole proposal is in here.
Yeah.
But I think we have a lot more questions, and we have a meeting again on Tuesday.
So
So
maybe
I
we
think
can
we should
address it
hold
that
this
night.
over and just,
Yeah.
you know, get our questions answered, and then we'll put it on for next week, so.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, I reviewed it and I saw there's, you know, kickoff meeting and updating costs and so forth, but I guess I just am not clear on whether with this application this time around, whether there are additional requirements, whether an extensive engineering study is required, because they already did a lot the last time around that at that time was acceptable for that application. So I would just like to understand what the difference or the update needs to be.
Yep, we'll find out, and then we'll,
In simple terms that I can understand.
all right, we'll table that then for the next meeting. Okay. Then we had bid openings last week, and we are awarding a bid for cemetery mowing to All Seasons for the amount of, I just have to look this up,
Is that the
7,500.
All seasons, 7,005.
All Seasons. So I'm just asking the board to approve that tonight, because we are gonna have to start mowing
Yep.
very soon, if not already.
The only thing I don't remember, was it a 2-year bid? Or it doesn't say any of that in the resolution?
I believe it was a 2-year bid. I thought that's what we,
Should we have that in there so he's clear on that?
Is that why the other one was double?
no, that was just,
Okay, just checking.
I forget what he said. It was a larger company,
Yeah.
right, the other bid, and,
They were in New Windsor or somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's for 2024 and 2025?
25,
So we'll
mhm.
just add that on to the end, the last sentence.
okay. Do you guys want me to read it? I make a resolution awarding a quote for mowing of town cemeteries, whereas the town of Kent duly advertised for bids for the mowing of the town of Kent cemeteries, and whereas All Season has submitted the lowest bid in the amount of $7,500 for providing this service. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the quote of All Seasons for the mowing of the town of Kent cemeteries in the overall amount of $7,500 for 2024 and 2025. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then, do you want to add this to the agenda? Start calling the,
So by adding you, you wanted to have a
we have to
conversation
vote
about
on,
it?
we have to
You have to
vote
do a
on that.
resolution.
I have to do a resolution, so you're
And
asking
I
me
just
to wing
got
a
it.
resolution?
No, not bring
Okay.
it, just discuss
Explain
it.
Make a motion.
Just explain it.
Okay.
You gotta do an ad, a motion.
I make a motion to add an item to the agenda regarding PFAS litigation.
Second.
All in
Perfect.
favor?
Aye. So you want me to make a motion for this? You just want
No,
to?
I want you to explain it first.
Okay,
since-
so, obviously, if you don't know what PFAS or PFOA is, it is what they call an up-and-coming contaminant. It is really like a derivative of Teflon. It has been around since I think before 1960, manufactured by two particular companies, I won't name them, at this point, not knowing our legal responsibility for that. And so this contaminant, also known as forever chemicals, is known to be in some of the wells locally here in our water district. And so there's a class action suit going on against two of the companies that manufactured and distributed products that had PFAS and PFOA in it. And there's a class action suit going on. We are basically joining in on that class action suit. We have a retainer that we're going to approve or have approved to move forward with this.
Well,
So-
it's not,
It's not a
there's no
retainer.
retainer.
It's not a retainer?
It's a
retainer
percent.
agreement, but it's based on a contingency fee, so.
Of
They
the
get
se- of the
whatever
settlement.
whatever settlement we receive, we give them a portion of the settlement. So if nothing comes of it, we don't owe anything, we owe nothing.
So we're-
Exactly.
there's nothing out of pocket. It's just a win situation, and those funds would go to remediate the wells and to do water testing, so forth and so on.
To remediate people's personal wells?
No, isn't this for the water districts?
Oh, okay, because you don't want to get into,
No, this is for the water.
For
the-
public water
for
supply.
okay.
The water here at Town Hall, and then Water District 1 and Water District 2.
Well, it's really for the town of Kent in any way we've been damaged by
we
this.
don't-
so-
You would
we're
get-
not
you would
gonna-
have a line up.
Yeah,
I
we're-
sent you that article, it's in Band-Aids.
Correct.
There was a big article just written on it all, toilet paper, Band-Aids, everything. So, I mean, if it's for the water district, that's one thing, but I can't see it being for people's personal wells. 'cause
No, but
then we'll all-
this is for the water districts and for the town well, the town water,
Public water
public
supplies.
water.
Public water supply?
So, do you want to wing a resolution?
No,
Is there any other public comment?
I just want to state that I inquired whether the proportion that the attorney would be getting in this settlement is sort of consistent with what is typical, and I was advised that yes, it is typical and actually slightly more favorable.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Not only that, because it's a no-lose situation, is that
Water.
the percentage
And here,
that the
public water.
attorneys will be taking out of it is smaller. Or like
It's
the-
normally 30%, I think it's 27% that they're
Well, it's
taking.
30% if they go through a trial, but 27% if they settle for a trial.
Correct.
Okay. All right, do you want to wing a resolution?
All
right,
yeah,
give me-
forgive me.
give me.
I make a motion to pass a resolution, are we doing a resolution signing on?
Make my motion to authorize the supervisor to sign that
All right,
agreement.
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign an agreement to enter the class action lawsuit for the Sarcone Law Firm, to make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was a great job.
I don't know, tired.
Okay, well, you're up for
Okay.
vouchers.
I ask the board to approve the following vouchers for April 9th, 2024. Barton and LaJudas, $6,379.75 for Lake Carmel FEMA, $8,209.33 for Lake Louise Culvert. Brown and Brown Insurance, $84,828.53 for cyber policy renewal. Custom Bandage, $5,840.52 for tires. First Person Sports, $4,320 for laser tag. Fred A. Cook Jr. Incorporated, $2,800 for Vector Jet Rodder for Lake Carmel. I have no idea what that is. GAR Associates, $35,000 for contract building reassessment. Global Montello Group, $3,982.60 for gas. Richard Harris, $5,923.04 for a buyout. Insight Engineering, $2,046 for Eustis Park. Magna 5MS, $7,616.37 for network services for April. NICEAG, $2,641.22 for electric for Town Hall, $2,846.64 for electric for Ryan's Field. RCJ Welding, $3,200 for welding for the sanitation truck. Laura Roberts, $2,835 for our prosecutor in March. State Comptroller, $32,631 for Justice Court fines and fees for February. Transaxle, $3,809.44 for truck parts. Twin County Collision, $4,513.30 for repair of a PD Dodge Durango. Wind Waste, $8,391.74 for Lake Carmel garbage, $8,219.98 for Lake Carmel garbage, $8,863.89 for Lake Carmel garbage, and I'm adding Royal Carting Service, $5,938.90 for recycling March garbage. I ask the board to approve as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I have a couple of announcements. On Sunday, this Sunday from 10 to 1, the Lake Carmel Fire Department will have their open house. They'll be opening their doors to residents in the community to come learn about the importance of fire safety. They'll have tours of the station, the fire apparatuses, and let visitors try on firefighter gear, and I'm sure that they will also be accepting volunteers.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking to volunteer, go stop by the fire department on Sunday.
I believe Kent also has their open house the
Same
same day.
day.
They didn't send me an email.
I know, but it's only fair. We both need volunteers.
I know.
So also at that event, we're having Touch a Truck. So there's lots of local businesses that are bringing their work trucks so the kids can, look at them, beep the horns, so forth and so on.
Touch a truck.
Touch a truck.
Touch a truck. Putnam County Department of Health is having a residential household hazardous waste drop-off day on May 4th from 8:30 to 12:30, Putnam County residents only. You do have to pre-register. You can go to putnamcountyny.com/health/recycle/#HHWD. We'll put this on the website. Yes. And then I have one more announcement. 2 weeks ago, we had our Easter egg hunt at Ryan's Field. It was a great turnout. We had over 300 kids, over 3 different sessions of Easter egg hunting. So I thank our recreation department, our Kent Police were there. We had lots of volunteers. It was great to see all of our softball teams that rent our fields, all the girls out there volunteering and helping out. So that was nice. Thank you to Councilman Boyd for bringing coffee for everyone because it was a very cold, windy day.
It was.
But it was, despite that, it was a really great, great turnout. So thank you for everyone that supported it and worked hard. And that's all I have.
My pleasure.
Anything else?
April 20th, so a week from Saturday, is Kent Cleanup Day in conjunction with Earth Day. Again, Chief Owens and I will be outside of Kent PD from 9 o'clock till probably 11:30. You can come get supplies. I've had a bunch of residents. I know Matt Jackson in Hillendale Country Club has reached out. They've done a group effort there for the last 3 years. So please, if anybody wants, come to the PD. We'll give you supplies, bags, gloves, pickers, and hopefully we clean up the town.
With that, does the police department have like a bunch of those yellow vests, the safety vests?
Yeah.
Can we bring those with us too, so people are walking along the road can wear them?
Yeah.
You usually give them out.
We get them anyway?
Yeah.
They
All
do.
right, perfect.
Come down to PD, sign them out, we'll give you a bunch of vests. We don't have enough pickers for everybody in town, but each group could get 2 or 3 easily.
Wonderful.
Those are only for those of us that can't bend over.
Yeah, they're very helpful.
And one other announcement, on Saturday at 11:30, former Kenttown Councilman Dennis Illuminate passed away in February, I believe. There is a memorial service at Our Lady of Lakes at 11:30 this Saturday, April 13th. So if anyone would like to come, please come pay your respects to Dennis.
Sorry to hear that. Okay, I have a few from the library. By the way, we have submitted an application for Climate Smart certification. That's been about 3 years in the making. It'll be a while before we hear the results, but I'll let you know. For the library, homework help is still ongoing, Wednesday afternoons at 4:30. And there's going to be a series of history talks via Zoom, last Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. This is done by somebody from the Franklin Delano Roosevelt site. And you can get information at the library website. Couple other things. Battle of the Books for middle school students in grades 4th through 8th. Oh, I'm sorry, that's already happened, my apologies. Fish and Craft this Saturday at noon. You can come in and create a stash box for your fishing lures. Children under 7 need to have an adult with them, but all ages are welcome. And then there will be many activities at the library for Earth Week, April 15th through 20th. So please check the library website to learn about those. Things like Worms at Work, or Earth Day Storytime and Planters, and so forth. And again, we're hoping to have a great turnout on the 20th. You're going to dial up some good weather for us, right, Jarman?
I have no idea.
That's all I have.
Actually, long-term, it does look good for that day.
Yes, let's hope it stays that way. That's all I have. Thank you.
Everyone else get up here? Okay.
All set.
Public comment?
I know you hired the EMS coordinator, and this was on Facebook, so now we're hiring EMS workers? Is that what that is?
We're not hiring anyone yet. We're starting the process. Actually, on Tuesday, she will be here, and it will be an update status for everyone to hear on what's going on. And because we don't have EMS jobs in the town of Kent, we have to accept it, and so no, we're not hiring anyone yet.
Okay, good. I mean, this is on Facebook. It says, "So exciting, the town of Kent has started its own municipal systems, accepting applications for EMTs. Join us, 845-306-5613, ems@townofkent.gov."
Yeah.
Got feelers
She's
out.
just looking for applicants
Yeah.
now. She's not hiring anyone.
Okay, but we are going to hire people?
Eventually, yes.
Eventually, yeah.
100%.
And, okay, well, I'm just asking how much money, I mean, it wasn't put in the budget, so I'm just wondering how we're paying for it. That's all. No answer?
We're gonna go over it next week, the whole thing. All right? Mm-hmm. No executive session today? I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
See everyone next week.